大家好，我是老王啊。本期试玩内容是合金装备啊及大师集合第一部啊。这个游戏包含了合金装备啊、合金装备2自由之子啊、合金装备3实摄者啊，两个都是高清版啊。只有合金装备1是一个英特尔根儿版啊。此外还包括了2个 MX 版本的。可以单独下载啊。每个游戏将附带数字剧本啊，全视作场景，大量无限对话啊，任务报啊。这个游戏挺可惜的，没有中文啊，只有英日文啊，就没有中文啊，挺可惜的。我们开始游戏看一下吧。看这个画面啊，我们就回到了过去。
Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have 2 mission objectives. First, you're to rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
The man with the same codename as you. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface. But make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85.
What was that noise? 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 What was that noise?
好，我们来到第二步啊，合金装备自由自制啊，我们每一步试玩几分钟就够了啊。这个游戏以前啊能够玩的都玩了，都知道大概的内容啊。喜欢补课的小伙伴去补下课就是了。 序幕太长，我们直接开始游戏啊。好，我们来到合金弹头第3部啊，试射者啊，我们看一下这个都是4万一点点啊，喜欢4万全部的可以去购买一下。
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off. Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask. Depressurization complete. Checking oxygen supply. 6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch. Sunrise. External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up. You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill. 1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear. Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green. Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the West. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino Yask in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong, you'll be eating dinner. Do you copy? Your
好，这个移植是第一代啊，第一代 FC 上面的啊合金装备啊，你看一下，哎，今年的 FC， 但是好像没玩过，这个上面正版的磁带没有玩过，小时候都是玩的盗版磁带。看吧，啊，这个游戏只有英文版啊，所有的集合里面的游戏只有英文没有中文啊，是很遗憾的事情啊，希望官方以后能够更新那个中文啊。毕竟中国的玩家体量比较大。 哎，我们捡了一把手枪啊，捡了一把手枪，来，我们继续前进吧。来，啊，血量已经没有了，开始一下，开始一下。好，我们这个 FC 就试玩到这里啊，我们接下来试玩另外一部了，它是个集合，里面很多有4、5部那个游戏。好，我们来到合金装备MX 版本啊 ，MX 版本，我们先看一下这个游戏吧，看一下这个版本又是什么样子的。哦，这个才是 FC 版本啊，刚刚那部好像是 MX 版本，哎，不知道。好，我们试玩一下，试玩一下，哎，太老了这个游戏。啊，开始游戏吧！来，哎，这个才是 FC 版本啊，刚刚说错了。这么快就死了？哦，点的不正常，怎么这么快就死了？好，这个吉普车是上去不了的啊，我们下去吧，下去啊。这个 FC 版本啊，年代有点久啊，这里好多狗儿。